Hello. Can you hear me okay, Sarah? Good. Wonderful. Lisa, oh my goodness. I literally just jumped in the shower like 10 minutes before this. And this is how quickly my hair dries. It is, oh my goodness.
Hello, fair maidens. How does the day greet you on this dead day?
I love it. Is that your Halloween costume?
Yeah, I made it myself.
Did you? What's so funny? Like, my kids and I were talking today. We have not ever, no, maybe once when Tristan was much little, we actually bought Halloween costumes. We make them every freaking year.
Yeah, I made my sword too to go with it.
What'd you make? What did you make that from?
My 3D printer.
Oh, impressed.
Ah,
That is awesome. Oh, here comes Crystal. Janine, I see you're here. Brad, Sarah. Hello. You're right on. You are not required to go on screen. You are not required to share. You're not required to do anything. The fact you're here is awesome. Oh my goodness. Hi. You look so happy.
Hey,
Hi.
thanks for the invite.
You're welcome. We talked about it before. And honestly, we'll get into it when I want to wait for a couple more minutes to see how people are coming. We had 30 people sign up, which was amazing. This also includes people from our Rise Like a Phoenix group, which we'll explain in a second what that is. I know some of them can't make it. That's to let you guys know too. There is a replay. Oh, here comes Jen. After this, you guys going to have it, obviously, for you guys. I am late, as usual, for getting the resources out to you. I have this thing. I go down this freaking rabbit hole for making things really pretty. Like the chat list I gave you guys the other day, the reason was so late, I made 3 different versions of it. And then afterwards, I'm like, I care. Just get the freaking thing out. So I did that.
right.
It's stupid, right? We're just talking about this. I over prepare. And then
It looked good. Don't get me wrong. It looked good. But I was like, holy shit, there's no way I put this together.
Yeah. We'll show you, after we're there. People are still coming in. So this is like completely off the cuff, like really pretty, not part of the presentation, but I love this. We're actually this is the real deal. This is how we work. I'm just like, okay, let me find it. Is this it? Okay. Yeah. I'll show you what I was working with. Just because I'm like, I'm going to show you everything. And then we'll get into it because we have few people here. So I'll just show you really quick what I was working on. So it's the thing. I go down these freaking design rabbit holes. So when you guys do get the workbook, it's gonna be pretty because I put work into this. Anyway, so this is the workbook. This is what it was supposed to be like to this. And then after I tried to play with all the different ways it's gonna look, I'm like, just go. So you're gonna get this. The other thing we're going to be giving you is a blueprint. So you'll have it for yourself when you want to do it at home. I also went crazy on Pinterest last night. I literally had an hour that I had a trip on the subway. I just went Pinterest. I had all these resources of printables and like coloring pages and things you can do at home that I'm going to wrap up together to give you as well. My thing is that I completely over-delivered. Which also means I'm a little late sometimes on things, but I promise you it's value. It's amazing. You're going to get it. Okay, so let's dive in because we have people here. Before we do anything, I do want to acknowledge that you guys did make it here, which is incredible. We are all very busy people. We are solo parents and which means we have to do all the things. You're probably working right now. Maybe you took a break. Maybe you're just doing it on lunch. I don't know, but you made it here. I would highly recommend, if you are here, to stay until the end live. The reason why is because I'm going to be going through the cultural history of what the Day of the Dead is. We're going to actually go through it together to create the altar and explain everything that goes down. We're going to do it together if you want to. I'm going to share what I've done. We're at the very end. What we are going to do is give you an invite to come to Rise Like a Phoenix. This is what this is all about. This is an inside look of how we work here. We have some Phoenix members here, so we'll give you that opportunity because we are looking for new members. But before we even shut off, after that, before we shut off for the day, we're going to go off camera We're going to not replay any, and it's not part of the replay, but we're going to have that time to share ourselves. I think that's very important to have that kind of vulnerable space. I don't want it to be on the replay because I want to give you that private space. And I don't know whether you'd want to be shared anywhere else. This is respect for you. It also gives you respect and because we were here live, which is, I think, is fantastic. And then we'll close off and we'll see what happens next. I'm hoping that this is not going to be 2 hours. I put together everything. So we'll have about an hour, maybe a bit more for the presentation, which we actually do the altar, and about 20 minutes, 25 minutes, depending for our actual private session. And then at the end, hopefully, depending on how that works, it should be an hour and a half, hopefully not 2 hours. However, in our own group, who get together weekly, we love sharing and we will talk and we be part of things. But as anybody who's part of the group will tell you, it does not feel like it's half an hour or 5 minutes. It feels amazing. You know how you like time flies kind of thing? It is engaging. It's amazing. So try to stay to the end. You're going to get a lot out of this. I am so bloody excited. Here comes Ercel. Oh my God. I was just about to say, this presentation would not be here if it wasn't for Ercel. And you know what? I'm going to stop now because I was expecting, Ercel, you made it on time. This is fantastic. I wasn't expecting you to make on time. Thank you.
I did it.
She was putting her daughter to bed, guys.
Yes, super early, an hour earlier. But I didn't.
Did she go down okay?
Yes, no nap today.
Uh-huh.
But with the very long day, we went out a nap.
And Ercel, oh my God. Okay. I will give you a really quick, actually, no, we'll do the introductions in a bit. So what I'm going to do, I am going to share my screen. This is a presentation that we put together. I was on the call with Ercel a couple weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, and I just learned so much. I am so pleased to be able to share this with you guys. So I'm going to see if I can actually share it now. Hasn't. And we're going to present full screen. All right. So I am going to share my screen and we will get going. Thank you, everybody, for your patience. There we go. Oh, hang on. Autumn is trying to join. Give me a sec. All right. What am I going to do? I'm going to give her one. Where is it? I have too many tabs up. That's the other problem, too. I get too confused. Oh, thanks, Janine. Janine says that she was liking what I gave, which is fantastic. Where am I going? Hang on, I'm going to stop sharing because I'm confusing myself. I'm going to make sure that I'm honestly, I don't know, Jen, you can tell everybody if I'm usually this scattered. Maybe I am. That's also, I'm Sarah. Okay, copy invite link. I'm going to go back to us. Next. It's the tech problems. They're always there. Hey, over prepare. I have all the stuff. What I am going to do, as I talked to you before about this, Jen, ideally what I'd love to have is a co-presenter who's actually, sorry, I know Ercel, you're here. I'm just talking on my left and on my mouth right now. Okay, I'm going to shut up because I getting too distracted. All right, hear it. Promise, this is why it's going to take freaking 2 hours because it takes forever for me to start. No, I'm joking. It really isn't all that bad. And there. And I'm going to share again. Okay. Can you see my screen now? Let's find out. No, you cannot. Why can't you see my screen? There. Too many tabs. Okay. Can you see this? Yay! We're there. Okay. I'm so very happy that you're here. There is so much that's been going on. This is a celebration which I have been wanting to do since I started the Widowed Solo Parenting group back in 2021. When I first started doing this, it was a very small group. I had maybe 500 people. It's grown ridiculously over the past few years. Why? Because, oh my God, we are out there everywhere. And people think, you're a solo parent, you're young. How would this happen? I'm like, we can't, because it happens and we're everywhere. Back in 2021, when I first started the group, I met somebody who was Mexican. She went down to Mexico for a 3-day retreat for a huge celebration. And I wanted to be able to do something with her. Unfortunately, that didn't work out because she actually went off Facebook and did her own thing. But a couple weeks ago, in our Rise Like a Phoenix group, Ercel, thank you, Ercel, put this together. We would not be here if it was not for Ercel. She put her hand up. She wanted to do the thing, and it's on her insistence that we did this. And I am so thankful, because the more I got into this, the more it was proven to me that Western culture freaking sucks at actually normalizing how life and death and everything is part of the cycle, and it's normal. And why are you afraid of this? It's the idea, if you don't know what is out there, you're going to be scared of it. But if you bring it into your culture, we'll get into, it becomes such a part of the roots of why we are here. And it's a celebration. We're going to go through, we're going to learn why it came to about, which is fascinating in itself. We're going to build our own little mini altars. And then at the end, as I mentioned, we're going to have a little sharing circle if you're here live, which I appreciate. Before we do anything else, though, let me have a chance to acknowledge who is here, because not everybody wants to actually put their hand up, but I do want to acknowledge, if I can actually stop sharing for 2 seconds, who is here. Oh, here's Autumn. Here she goes. Awesome. You know what, Jen? I'm going to make you, actually, Ercel, I'm going to make you the co-host if I can. How come I can't do this now? Co-host. So in case somebody else comes in, you'll be able to see them as I talk about, because I will just get distracted. So let's acknowledge who is here. So obviously there's me. We have Ercel. She'll introduce herself in a second. Brad, you are here. Tell me, Brad, where are you right now? I know you're in the US. You want to come to Canada.
I'm originally from Toronto, born in Kitchener, and I'm down in Florida. I've been in the US probably most of my life. And yeah. And I just got my son his Canadian citizenship like 6 months ago, because I can.
You're dual, right? You can do dual.
Yeah.
Good. Why are you here today? Because I want to make sure that we actually...
Because I know you through the group.
Yep.
And my wife passed away 2018. And I mean, everything's good on my end. I support what you do. I like what you do. And the Day of the Dead is totally in line with my spirituality. And so I figured, hey, what the heck? Sounds good.
I thought so. You and I have been talking for a bit. I think spirituality is something we don't actually talk about as much as we should. There are a lot of things we don't talk about, but I really love that you do. And I really thought this would be good. So I'm really glad you're here for me, for us, for everybody. Oh, yeah. Thank you for support.
Thanks for the invite.
Of course. We also, I'm just going to go down through my list, guys. So if I got to you too early or too late, my apologies. We also have Janine. Janine, where are you hailing from? Janine is not there for the moment. Janine, when you can, if you can, love to. We also have... Oh, okay, Janine, hi. Okay, we'll go back to you. Where are you hailing from, girl?
I'm just south of Collingwood on beautiful Brewster Lake.
It is beautiful. You're showing me a picture of your house is on sale. Your house. Oh my God. Have you had any bids on it?
No offers.
Okay.
Yeah. People
Well,
interested, but yeah, the market's really weird right now.
Yeah, it is. It is great. But it's gorgeous. And if I had the money, absolutely, I would go live there.
Thanks.
But you're welcome. Why are you here today, Janine?
Why am I here? Yeah, I think it's just a good time to honor ancestors, not just my spouse, but all the people that I've lost. Yeah, it's a nice tradition. I did it when I was in Europe. It's a thing to go to the cemetery and on November 1st. Yeah, it's a nice tradition. It's a nice thing to do if you're not into the commercial trick-or-treating Halloween stuff.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, Jen, your turn. Where are you coming from?
I am in sunny Chico, California, Northern California. So yeah, I'm here because I'm here every Friday. So can't break tradition. Yeah, and I lost my husband in 2020. So just over 5 years out now. And yeah, happy to support you and Ercel on this one today. Thank you for being here. We also have Crystal, and I'm just seeing my list here. Crystal, how are you doing today? Where are you coming from?
I'm doing good. I'm from Colorado, but in Casper, Wyoming. It's not very warm here today. Yeah,
That's fun. What are you here for today, my dear?
I guess just the experience and also to honor some loved ones and coming up on 6-year anniversary in a couple of days. So the timing's just kind of perfect.
Yep. Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate that. Sarah, you're up my list next.
Hi, everyone. I am Sarah. I'm from and live in northern Indiana, right close to the Indiana-Michigan border. And I'm here, I joined the Phoenix group a few weeks ago, so I'm a new member. But yeah, I just thought this would be a good way to honor my husband. He died in February of 2021. And so, yeah, that's where I'm coming from.
Thank you. And you managed to get everything in there. Thank you. Appreciate that. And then I have Autumn. If you want to say for yourself, Autumn, how you're here, why you're here, where you're from, and why are you here? Oh, you're on mute, Inan. I just asked you to unmute. Did that help?
Yes.
Oh, there we go.
Hello. I'm Autumn. I'm not very social, so this is hard. But I'm here. I'm in Simpsonville, South Carolina. It is cold. And my husband passed away in 2020. And other people.
COVID. Yay.
Yeah.
Why are you here today, Autumn?
I enjoy talking about my husband. And I feel like I've burned out the years of everybody close to me.
Yeah, I totally get that. I was thinking about this, about how I'm trying to think about memories and how we're going to share later on. And the thing that I tell the same stories about him all the time. I will tell the ones that are most pertinent to me because here comes Barbara, because these are my memories and these are the ones that really make a difference to me. And I'm sure that his friends and his family or whatever are just shut up. We've heard this already, but I'm like, but this is what I got. This is what I got. I'm not going to get any more. Why can't I have this moment? So yes, and having to be able to be, and just let the mask down, which I think is ironic that you can say put the mask off during Halloween and all this kind of stuff, but it's true. Which is why, so thank you everybody for being here. And oh my goodness, and then we have Barbara. I love you. All right, Barbara, we're going around, we're explaining where we're from and why we're here. You're in a spotlight.
Okay. I am Barbara. I am typically a gray-haired 49-year-old who's lost her husband 2.5 years ago. And let's see. What else do I have to say? I like dressing up for Halloween.
I love Halloween. I think it's absolutely freaking amazing. And I think amazing. I just realized who you are. You're from
Sally from Night River
Princess for Christmas. You look awesome. I love it. Oh, Emily's coming in. How long did that take you to put on?
Not long. Okay, maybe 15 minutes.
All right. And then last and not least, actually, what I'm going to do, because I do see Emily, thank you for joining. I will get to you in a sec. But what we're doing is going around the circle, explaining who we are, where we're from, and why we're here, which I don't think I've actually asked you yet. Barbara, what are you here? Where are you from? And why are you here today?
I am from New Jersey, so the States, and I am here to celebrate the memory of our loved ones.
Madam Barbara, very nice to meet you.
Love it. And then we had the other person for our guests today is Emily. Emily, if you want to share where you're from and why you're here, that would help.
Sure. I'm Emily Kavanaugh from Columbia, Maryland. I'm actually home from school. I'm a high school special educator. We have a half day today because it's the end of first quarter, so I'm working on grades. And the reason I'm here is because I want to honor my late husband, Ryan. It will be 6 years that he's passed in December. So just another Halloween without him.
Thank you. And then I'll let Ercel go next, and then I'll do my own introduction after that. Ercel, hello, my dear. Your turn. Why are you here, Ercel? Where are you from?
I'm from Mexico. I live in Cairo, Egypt. My husband passed away of COVID as well in 2021 in August. And when we were talking about this a few weeks ago, I was telling them that I would do an altar for the first time so that my daughter could understand the tradition that we would celebrate back home. And so that she could help me create it and we can have like positive memories and whatnot. And so that's why I'm here, to share the tradition with you guys.
That's beautiful.
I love it. Thank you so much. Thanks, Brad. I mean, I love it too. At any point, guys, as we go through, you're more than welcome to put things in the comments. You're more than welcome to put things, little emotes and stuff. I am going to limit a lot of the conversation until the sharing time because I want to get through as much as possible, people have time to be able to do the steps. And I will give you ideas to think about. You can process them on your own. You can get your notes if you haven't gotten yet, a piece of paper and a pen. Please do so if you want to make some notes. Again, you are getting the replay and you will be getting eventually after this, the actual blueprint and so a whole bunch of other things that I got. But for now, be in the moment. I'm hoping to keep this within 2 hours. Depends on how long we speak at the end. But let's dive in. Let me have a chance to explain who I am. Can I make myself a co-host? Hey, how do I make myself actually? I used to use, can I spotlight for everyone? There I am. I'm spotlighted. Okay, so I am Sarah Gallagher. This is my life. This is my messy background. I am a widow solo parent. I am 48 years old. My husband died 11 years ago. Whoa! When I was 37. When my husband died, it was completely unexpected. I had gone out for a very rare evening, which I hadn't ever done for a while. I had a 2.5-year-old son at home. He was very clingy to me. I really haven't had a night. I left my husband there to take care of my son. I went to a meeting. I felt something really pulling me, like something is happening. Something is going to happen tonight that is going to change your life forever. And I've been feeling this kind of feeling, I wouldn't know when it was until afterwards, but almost like this impending feeling of doom that was over me for a good couple months. And it kept getting stronger and stronger. And of course, I don't know what the heck what's going on because I've never dealt with this before. Something was just wrong. And I felt really bad. So when I was at this meeting, and I was feeling this so hard, I was thinking, okay, maybe I'm here because of the meeting, because this meeting is going to change my life. But then on the way home, I'm trying to get a hold of my husband. I'm texting him. Nobody's picking up. I'm like, what's going on? He's home with my son. I hope I haven't burned the house down. I got in the subway to go home. The subway lost power. And when I was I was in that subway and I lost power, there was that feeling of this is going to happen and you can't do anything about it. You have no control. This isn't your fault, but this has to happen. And I'm like, what are you talking? But it's so strong. So when this power came back up again and the subway kept on moving, I'm like, what is going on? I came home and of course I went up the stairs. It was quiet. And I had found my husband on the couch, keeled over on the coffee table. And when I found him, I pushed him up and he was blue. And that is when my heart and my mind split apart. And my heart's freaking the heck out. I cannot tell you, you all know how your heart freak outs. But my mind's, we gotta take care of this. Look at him. He's blue. How long has he been? How long has he not been breathing for? Because he has no oxygen. We'll check his pulse. Can't feel it. Why can't I feel it? I had to call 911, and my heart's going, oh my God, I can't believe I had to call 911. I don't want to get into the details. Just to say, it was 3 days before we finally found out he really was brain dead. We let him go. I didn't know whether he was actually in there or not. And I didn't really have a call out to the ether to feel that. But I will tell you that when I actually, we took him off, it was such a relief, which sounds guilty, but it was a relief. I'm like, at least I don't have to, it's not my fault. And I didn't take him off, which was a huge decision right there. It also made me know he's not there anymore. He hasn't been here for a bit. And then I realized a couple days before the first day I was supposed to go to visit him, it was really windy out of nowhere. So windy. And they're the leaves are going everywhere. His element is wind. And looking back, I'm like, this was him saying goodbye. This was him pushing his element out of nowhere. It was the strongest wind. It was literally pushing me over. And that was the first time I realized that how much he's here. And I really believe that they are here. And so this kind of celebration is something I think Westerners should do. We should talk about it. We should say, he's here. Why can't we talk about it? Even if he's not here physically, he's in me. He's in my kids. That's not going to change. Why can't we talk? So here we are. So thank you. I am going to present now. At any point, if I am talking too fast, please let me know. And this is a problem I have. And at any point, again, look at the comments. If you can't, keep an eye on the comments until I don't say anything. But let's go. Oh, if you don't mind, let's make this a little bit like we talked about before, going back and forth. I'm going to say some things. I'm going to make sure that you are... I want to make sure this is as authentic as possible, guys, which is why Ercel is so here today. I love this tradition. I found out when I was looking at this, when Ercel was talking about this, there's a couple things I didn't know. First of all, I thought, Dia de los Muertos, Day of the Dead, I completely messed it up. I think spooky. I think skulls. I feel all the altars. I feel weird about that, which is weird because I got an altar. But I'm like, this is so weird. Why are we talking about this? And then the more we talked about it, the more I realized where this all came from. Now, I'm not going to go into the huge details of it because I already sent you the whole entire, this is how it works. But from your perspective, I would love to know, Ercel, why, when we bring these things together, when we bring things like the ofrendas or the marigolds and the candles and the photos and this feasting, what for you is the cultural root of why this is so important? Why do you do this every year?
We just grow up with that, right? We grow up talking about our family members that already died, basically, so that we can at least mention them once a year, being happy, not being sad, but being happy because they were alive and they were part of our lives. So it's also our way to connect with family. Latins, we're very social. We're very family oriented. So just another excuse, right? For that. So yeah, we just do it because we want to make sure that the people that we loved that passed away are still remembered. That's pretty much it. And we want to make sure that everybody remembers the story about that person and having an opportunity to talk about the person as well. Because on a daily basis, you have your routine and everything, and it's not as easy as it was at the very beginning to talk about your dead uncle or grandma or whatever. So when we go to school, usually they ask us to take a picture of the person that we like to put in the altar. So usually what schools do, they build a very, in the auditorium, a very big altar. And then everyone takes the picture of the loved one that they want to represent there. So it's a big deal. It's a big deal. And we like it. We like it.
One of the things that you brought up, which made me start thinking about this, about how it's become as part of the cycle, not just because the kids are there, which for me is really weird that we have a problem in Western civilization where we don't want to bring the kids to the funeral. I have had so many people ask me that. Is it okay if I bring my kids? I'm like, yes, absolutely. First of all, it happened. They are dead, and there's nothing you can do to stop that. And they need to understand that. If they don't get it, then they're always going to wonder. If you don't tell them, like, this is your father or whoever is dead. I've had kids who are convinced that when they are burying their father, he's still alive in there. He feels it. That's freaking scary. That's more scary to me than that talk about the fact he died. I love that also because it's such a family thing. It brings the family together, and it's not just who's here on earth. You're welcoming your family back every year, not just who you're closer to, but everybody. And because it happens every year, and that happens every year, and life happens every year, you're going to have people in different stages of grief. You're going to have people who had their husbands die 11 years ago, and you're also going to have people whose husband or whoever was just died 2 weeks ago. So you're going to have people who are able to laugh and share stories, and you're going to have people who can't because it's too raw. And guess what's happening? All emotions and all feelings are allowed. That freaking blows my mind. I think that's fan-freaking-tastic. All right, so let's keep going. I want to get things started. So I am going to talk about, though, if anybody would like to talk about right now, before we go into the sharing stories, I'm just curious. What's your background? How was death talked about in your family? I know in my family, it was a hit and miss kind of situation. I would be told about stories of people who already died like a few years ago, but mostly everything like my great grandmother or my great uncle. No one talked to me about whose death. So when my best friend's father passed away out of nowhere, I was scared shitless because of everything. Brad, your hand's up. I'm going to stop sharing so I can actually see your lovely face.
I'll go off video. I would just say in general, like you put it, the Western, you're born into the family and the culture, whether you're United States or Canada, and somebody passes away, you get invited to the funeral. So you're a kid and you learn about what death is and how it's dealt with in the culture. And it's very not talked about because it wasn't talked about. It's like at the points that happen, you go to the funeral home, you go to the church, you go to the cemetery, stand around, and that's that. And then everybody disappears and deals with their grief privately. So that's how I grew up. And of course, my beliefs and the way I do things now are 180 degrees down.
The idea of isolating afterwards is so common. I cannot get into this because there's so many times where I have people come up to me or, hey man, I'm going to say, like right now, it is so prevalent that people can say people will disappear after the funeral. People will say they will help out and they will always be here for you whenever you need them, and they're gone. I did this huge, big presentation a couple of years ago about how people ghost the grieving, which I should probably do again because that's so freaking prevalent. But it also teaches you like why they do it, because mostly they're scared of mortality because we don't talk about it. Anyway, fine. Autumn, your hand is up. Someone who says it's going to be hard for her. Let's hear from you.
So I'm in the Bible Belt of the United States, and I was raised as, if you don't believe in Jesus, you're going to hell. And so it was scary, especially growing up, falling in love, and having weird feelings. So at that time, my husband and I, we were both, I would say, agnostic. And when he was about to pass, I don't think I've said this, he had brain cancer. So it was hard to know what he understood and what he did not. We had people that came over and prayed for him in his last few days and everything. And it was uncomfortable. It was uncomfortable whether that was a good thing or a bad thing. But now, 6 years later, in retrospect, I think it was a good thing. And I truly believe now that he's in heaven.
It's a hard thing. It's very hard. There's a lot of I find there's two different ways after, if you're spiritual or not spiritual, that people, like their husband is, or whatever dies, who are the closest to, either they become so deep in their religion because it's the one thing that saves them, or they push it away because that's the thing that really hurt them. Why would you do this to me? Why would they take me away if I believed in you? And it takes a long time sometimes to be able to reconcile that with a lot of things. Sarah C. Sarah Cole, not me. You have your hands up. How would you think?
So yeah, when I was a child, the first funeral I remember was my grandmother, my mom's mother. I was 9 when she died. And that thing you said about children not coming to the funeral, things like that. I went for a little while, but then my mom arranged for my aunt, who was my dad's sister, so not related to that grandmother, to come and pick me up from the funeral home and babysit me, basically watch me and my younger brother, who was like a year and a half old at the time. So we're leaving, and the thing I remember from the funeral is my aunt had a sunroof in her car, and I had never been in a car with a sunroof before. So that's what I remember. I don't really remember mourning my grandmother or anything like that, and she was a prominent person in my life until then. But what I remember is the sunroof all these years later. And just my family's attitude about death, including the death of my husband, was just like, move on, do and do and do. There's not a lot of space for mourning, wallowing. When people talk about laying in bed all day, I never had that opportunity. Not long after my husband died, I remember there was a time my daughter and I moved in with my parents, and there was a time my daughter was outside with my dad. I don't know what my mom was doing at the time, but I was just laying on the couch, and my dad came in and he was like, "What are you doing? What's wrong with you? You need to get up and do this and do that," and that kind of thing. Like, they wouldn't have allowed me to lay in the bed and wallow. You have a kid, you have someone you have to take care of. My daughter was 5 when they passed away. Yeah, I sometimes just get envious a little bit of people who actually were able to have some time. And I think that's why some of the reasons sometimes I feel a little bit more stunted, or like things are taking longer, because I was just expected to keep living, but the grief keeps showing up either mentally or physically for me because of needing time to process it.
There is something that makes us very different than every other widow out there. And I don't want to grief shame or grief compare, but we have the hardest job in the world, guys, because we are not just grievers. We are mothers. We are supporting our grieving kids. So we're trying to figure out the solo parenting. We're trying to help out our grieving kids because we are so afraid they're going to be traumatized for life. They're going to be broken because of what happened. And oh my goodness, am I breaking them because I'm doing it on my own? There's two separate things that are really thing. And then we have us. We have our own identity, because literally I felt that my identity and my life died with him. So to figure out where I am next, what I was doing first, the only reason I got out of bed was to make sure my kid was fed. He was 2.5 at the time. Okay. I was like in this spot. The second year I was pregnant, which is, I'm not going to get into, but basically I decided that we had a dream of having 2 kids, and I'm like, I'm going to do this. I have to do this. I don't want our dream to have our family together to die with him too. So I have a wonderful daughter who I got pregnant on the first try, by the way, which is, he was helping with that. They had a conversation and he helped out. Anyway, but I lost my train of thought. Oh yes, because we're mothers, what do? We take care of our kids first. Then we make sure we have a roof over our heads, that we have kept our job, that we take everything's safe. It's not until everything feels better, usually I would say between 3 and 4 years, typically, whatever that means, but we start realizing, where's me? Who am I? I actually have the time to breathe now, or at least try to make intentional time to breathe. Who am I next? And so we are stunted, I think, for a little bit, because we have to push it down. We have to be strong. We don't have a freaking choice because who else is going to take care of shit? Where can I go? I will go on with this forever. This is why we go over freaking 2 hours sometimes. Barbara, your hand is up. Let me hear.
So in my family, death usually was talked about like at the funeral, at whatever, at grandmother passed. I went home crying and whatnot. But with my husband, and he had kidney cancer and it progressed to his bones and his lungs and his brain. And it was a very quick 9 months. And we had talked a lot about what he wanted for his memorial and everything. So it's one of those things where I wanted to be with the church and everything, but everyone I would talk to in my Catholic church would be like, he's in a better place now. And I'm like, no, he's not in a better place. It's a better place to me. So I've stepped away from the Catholic faith for right now, but I still believe that he is up there and everything, but the kids don't want to talk about it. My son is 16, my daughter's 17. They choose their own way of how to grieve. So I've tried to show them how I've moved forward with my grief by doing things that he had wanted us to do, like going to the Allagash and paddling a week long in Maine and letting some of his ashes go in the river. So he's there. But I've seen him in my garden, in dragonflies, in everything that comes about. But yeah, I've just basically moved on my own. And now I'm blue.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate that. Okay. Hands up, anybody who actually got some things together. And if not, that is cool too. Good for you. Ercel, lots of oh, you guys are awesome. Okay, good. Try to do as much as possible. If you can, as we're going through things, please feel free to share. I'm going to share my stuff. Again, like you're seeing my crazy mess. Eventually, I will have a green screen or something. Actually, forget that. I had an idea of putting a green screen of Hawaii up there, but like, then people will know I'm blind to begin with. I do. I am not blind. Actually, another thing too, if you feel like you have to tap out for a bit, if you need some water, if your kids are screaming, if your dogs are screaming, feel free to come in and out as you will, because this can be traumatic. And I want to be as grief aware and as trauma informed as possible. That also means if your kid's at home, again, like it's whatever you want to bring, this is a safe space. This is you. Okay. Do what you have to do. Come on, come off, whatever. All right. So we're going to go into what we're going to do, honestly. And the symbology behind this. We are going to be doing a 3-layer altar. Let me say, give me a sec. I got to share my screen again. We are not doing, because I was looking into this, because I went down a rabbit hole. Seriously, I had like, when I get an idea in my head, sometimes it's like, I have to go do all these things. I've seen, and they're saying most people will have, there's 3 layers of the altar, but I've seen up to 7. We are not doing 7. I don't know. Ercel, is there even more than 7? I wasn't sure. No. Okay, it's just 7. I'm not doing 7. From what I can tell too, even people sometimes even just do 2, which is like a table and a floor, and that's it. You don't even have to do 3. The most important thing, guys, is that you put the time and effort into it, that you have, again, Ercel, let me know if I'm doing it wrong. You have the picture, you have the food or water, hopefully both, and you have a memory. And that's pretty much what you do. Is that right? Okay. Taking sure. Perfect. Okay, so the altar is literally there as a space. It is a way to honor them in a moment. I don't know if you guys have this, but I know I have my little altar there for this is him. Actually, let me show you. Give me a sec. Talk about my altar. I want to show you that I does not only have pictures of my husband up. I have my husband. He's in there. There's a little bit of him and not all of him. He's there. I've had people come over with crazy kids, and I have to move my husband out of the way in case I don't want him broken and all over the floor. That would be. How would I take him out of the freaking dustpan? Like, seriously. I'm going to put him back. Just put that. But anyway, overshare much. The things we're going to be doing today is bringing you things that are mattering to us, the things that are meaningful for us, the things that we are trying to bring memories to again. They might be things you already have in your altar. They might be things that you didn't even realize were important until you start thinking about it. This is also brings up the fact too that if you're really earlier in your grief, you don't even want to think about anything. You don't even want to have his stuff because it's too painful. Going through his clothes was the hardest thing for me to do because I really felt like he could have been in there like a little puppet. He was just empty. It was weird. Trying to disassociate from that is difficult. Over time, things are important or not important. The things are important to you. Let's go forward. So I also want to make sure that don't worry about perfection. This is for you on your terms. Okay. So as everyone through, make sure you have some things. The first thing we're going to be talking about is the layers, the 3 layers of what this is. Again, we're not doing I can't see if I can do this. We're not doing the whole entire 7 layers. You know what? I'm going to let Ercel explain this. And it's just, we're not going to do like we're going to do layer by layer in a sec. But in general, what do the 3 layers signify?
I'm in the spot there.
Yeah, so this tradition started because the combination from what the Aztecs believed before the Catholic Church arrived to Mexico. So this tradition, the way that we do it with the 3 layers, a combination of both. Okay. So we have the underworld would be where the spirits are on like a daily basis. Let's put it away, like their own world. Then we have the second level, which is Earth. So that's our level where we're at. And then the third level would be heaven. So that's a connection to bring them from underworld or heaven. When we celebrate Day of the Dead, it's actually several days. So one day, I think today's for the people that died in an accident, if I recall well. And then tomorrow will be for babies and people that were not baptized or something like that. And then on the second, it's like everybody. So that's why it really lasts several days. Okay. So that's why the underworld comes here, because some people were not baptized or they died in the car accident, whatever, and they were not able to go to church. And again, the Catholic. That's basic. So that's why we have layers. So those are the basic 3. The 7 layers, I don't even know them. No honesty. Yeah. I don't remember.
After that, I'm actually going to set out a blueprint so you actually can see everything. And there's a 3 layer. There is a 7 layer one. There are so many different arrows pointing to all the different things.
Yeah. Do what? Super basic. 3 is enough. 3 is enough. Even 1 is enough. But anyway.
I do want to, what really caught me about the symbolism of this too, is because this was originally, and this blew my mind when I was looking into it. This came from, in Mexico, it was in the Mesoamerican cultures. They definitely believe that there is a symbolic need to have the life and death together. And they would recognize this and they would celebrate it. And they would actually have a few days, a couple weeks, I'm not exactly sure what the timing was, as a celebration at the end of July to the beginning of August. Then the Spaniards came over, planted their flag, and were like, guess what? You're Spain now. And they're like, wait, what? No, we were here. This what? Sounds a little familiar. Anyway, so they came over. They were Catholic. And obviously we have the Aztecs who believe in a much different, more pagan kind of way.
And
right?
they really admired death. Like the Aztecs were willing to death. Many of their rituals involved someone dying. So death was a big thing for the Aztecs. They were warriors. So That's feared in theory, based on what the Spaniards wrote, like in their journals, that was very scary because they were not afraid of death, which was quite different. So,
I was looking into the history. This was neat because I was looking into this again, deep dive. They, during those celebrations, they really put a lot of honoring to, I can't remember her. I'm not even going to say her name properly, but in English, it's basically Lady Death or the Lady of the Dead. They respect, is that right? Okay. Because and she would guard and look over the bones. She would protect them, like almost like a nurturing mother kind of thing. So they would offer things to her like skulls because they were a warrior thing. Where does sugar skulls come? That's why I was asking, where do sugar skulls come from? That's what they come from. It's like a appropriation kind of way of putting into it. So they came over. They said, you're Catholic now. They're like, no, we're not. We're celebrating our way. Thank you very much. So know what they did? They moved from their special days to their special days, which was the All Hallows Eve, the All Saints Day, which is on the 1st, and then the All Saints or All Souls Day, which is on the 2nd. And they're like, okay, we're just going to amalgamate you into us. This is where you celebrate now. And there's Ercel, again, you can tell me if I'm wrong. You were telling me that some of the Catholic churches were actually built on pyramids. Is that right?
Yeah, around Mexico City and Puebla, yeah, the center. So people were not convinced about just believing in one God, so they still went to their temples. Most pyramids. It's all bad. Spaniards just came and covered it up and built churches there because the crowd was going to go there anyway, and that's how they captured the attention of the indigenous people. Yes, they did.
So it's colonization. I can't go on about that. What I love about this, though, is because it became such a natural amalgamation. Like it really, the idea of the dead, this is the cultural background of it, but it becomes such a cultural force. So we have the other underworld, we have the earth, and we have heaven. That includes Catholicism. That includes a lot of their beliefs, from the native beliefs. But it's become such an amalgamation. It's now culture. It is what you believe in. And it becomes such a thing. So it's not even like this is where things are. This is just, we are. And this becomes natural altogether. All right. So we're going to go into what the 3 layers are. So I am going to do a couple of things here. The first thing I'm going to do is talk about the candles and flowers. I am going to explain what these are. At the same time, I'm going to go back to what Ercel showed with me because she specifically said this is where things go on your altar. First of all, hands up if anybody has any flowers or any candles that they brought. Awesome. No, okay, we got one. Even if not, if you can right now. Actually, no, the first one we did is did anybody actually have an altar or anything they want to use for an altar, a table or whatever? Oh, thanks, Sarah. That's not what. Find where that is right now. Get your candle or get something that means for you. And then we're going to go through where you put it and how to do it. And Eric, just give me 2 seconds. I'm going to stop sharing my screen and I'm going to share. What? Here we go. Present. What am I, Melly? Okay, I'm going to share my screen again. Ercel, I'm going to let you take over a little bit. So I want to do step by step. We did this before. I just want to make sure we're all on the same page. All right, everybody see my screen?
No.
Yep.
Perfect. Okay. So this is the Day of the Dead, and we're actually creating the altar. How do you present this thing?
Click on not presenting there. There's an option of picking at the bottom or click play.
I have too many things I'm open. Play. Okay. Do you want to explain or do you want me to explain?
You go ahead.
So the step one, the first thing you're going to do is that you want to take that table, you want to get a shelf, you want to get a tier thing. Ideally, if you can, we want to have 3 different layers. So if you have one table, you have the ground, which is 1 layer, you have the table, which is the 2nd layer, and then you have the top tier. So it's a tier 1 at the top, tier 2, and tier 3 at the bottom. If you don't have a 3-tier, you can just have 2 layers, if I believe properly. So the earth, is that right? The earth is the ground. And then your table would be the heaven part. This shows the cycle of how people die and how they, when they do die, they go back to the underworld. They get refreshed. They get ready for the next thing. They are called home, which is us. And then eventually they go into heaven, which is very similar to the Catholic idea of there's limbo. You got to sit in there for a bit before you go into heaven again. Is that right? Did I get that right?
Yes.
Perfect.
Yes.
So that's one. Once you do that, we are going to light the candles. So if you do have the candle, they do represent fire. The spirits coming home, they're coming from another place, from where we don't even know, like just from the other world, or a spiritual area. They are coming home. They need to be able to see to come home. Your light is helping them.
Yes. It's a candle. It's okay.
It's important. The candle is important, right? With him. The other thing that people do, they bring the flowers, marigolds. There was also a coxcomb, which is like a red. The scent also helps them find their way back to earth idea. So we have fire, we have air, which is scent. And we'll, in other places, we'll get into that later. But anyway, so this is the first thing. So if you have a candle, take this moment. If you have flowers, take this moment, acknowledge it. Realize what you're doing is you're giving it a chance for your loved one to say, hey, hi, I'm here. Hi, I believe you. I know you're here. You know the idea, like you put a light in the window. If your husband or whoever gone off hunting, you put a light in the window so they know where they're coming home again. This is what you're doing. You're literally bringing them back. Okay?
Just so you know, when you actually make the altar, like in Mexico, we usually do it on the 30th, October 30th, and we'll leave it until the 2nd. So we need for several days.
Okay, that's good to know. That is awesome. Okay, so that's the first step. Let me make sure I'm the right one now. The next step is, there's so many freaking, okay, you see it should be back onto my presentation again. Is it okay?
Yeah.
Awesome. So the next one is the food and any kind of offering. So there's a couple different reasons why this is important. First of all, the food is there because it's not just their favorite food. This is a feast. This is a meal. We are gathering people together like we do for Christmas or Thanksgiving and say, hey, let's celebrate this event. Let's bring people in and we're going to feast with them. I was reading too before the Mesoamericans that they would do this. They would have these great big feasts and they make all this food. So your loved ones who are across the veil, they come over, they can eat it. And then when they didn't eat it, they would take those leftovers and they would give it to the poor. So this is such a celebration of having them home. If the food you want to have, water you need, if ideally, water, is because it's a very long trip. They are thirsty. They need to drink something, man. They're coming back to the land of the living. They're probably going to go, oh my God, I have been drinking in so long. Here I am. It is very much a personalization and a humanization of it, but it also helps bring it all together. For food, one of the things they have created is, I'm going to completely mess this up, pan de muertos. Is that right? I screwed it on.
One of those, yes.
Right
of the dead.
So I sent you a video. I don't know if you had a chance to see it. I went crazy last night, guys. I had so much fun. I'm a baker. If you look at that later, if you have a chance to, I'm going to show you what ended up happening. If you can.
I didn't let us see. Find out.
It turned. This is all sugar. The freaking big this is. I have 2 of them. So this is all sugar. Some
great
sugar and butter. And there's like oranges. And I don't have anise seeds, but I happen to have star anise. Or anise. So I mushed it all up. So there's more little flakes. It is the most beautiful, flowery punch of flavor. It's so, I'm not made this. You have to do this, guys. So here you can see these are bones. And I try to I try to push them in a bit more so it's not very bony. And then you put a little circle on top to be a skull's head.
Yeah.
Mine fell off. My skull.
I went too. I got it from the embassy yesterday. Didn't bake it myself.
That is awesome. So that's there. So that's it. There's so many different ways of doing that. If you have had anything, I would love to hear exactly at the very end what you did bring yourself. I want to share what was important to you. But at this moment, take advantage of that, drink your water, have your food there. And now we're going to have to go into exactly where you put it, which is step. Oh, wait, did I back up? Is it too, did I do
That's
go
good.
in?
That's
Is it okay?
fine. Yeah, that's fine. It's a photo. A photo.
Where does the bread go? Do we actually put food on the altar or is that separate?
On the altar. So any of the layers, as long as it's not the underworld, because that's where in theory the flowers would go on the salt and the water with the candles.
Okay.
Just on the table, like any layer. It doesn't really matter.
Okay, but that's important to know though too, because you're saying that every layer has a certain reason to it. So the flowers and the candle go on the bottom for the underworld to bring them up.
Yeah.
And then the earth layer, that's where the photos go.
Yes, the food and candle as well. You put candles on the tables as well. Most of the time, the photographs, because it depends on how many people you are doing this for, but most of the time the photographs are at the very top, just so that we can see who we're doing it for. But if you have a lot of people, it's going to be like on different layers. Doesn't really matter. But if you have it for just like a person, it would go at the top.
Okay.
Just to make it like more important.
Actually, I think I messed that up then. Okay, so that's up to, so the photos, I did everything. Yeah, so there's the underground or underworld, there's the earthly layer, and then there's the top layer, which is the heaven thing. And you can put them everywhere else too, but this is exactly where you put them.
Yeah. And for example, if you have several members in your family that have passed away, at the top, you would put the newest one. The most recent one was thrown away.
Okay.
Just because it's the most recent one. Like
That makes sense.
On that a little more.
I love this idea too, because it's not, again, this is something you do annually. The storytelling that comes up afterwards, or even all the photos, it's just one person. There are people that you love, like all over the place. This is the whole freaking family coming together, which I think is fantastic. The next step, but it happens. So if you put that, that's why I have the point now. If you had a chance now, put your altar together as much as you can. Oh yeah, here we go again. I skipped that somehow. I screwed that up. So we get the glass of water because they're thirsty, favorite foods and beverages. Oh, that's the other thing too. Anything cherished you have of them. This is also something you can put on. Those are little kind of instincts you have. I had so many things back there, which are his, that he was so important to him. Like he had this little bullet thing. It's like it's not a bullet. It looks like a bullet. It's like a little case. I can't even get it right now, but it's like a silver thing. You unscrew it and you put like special, like, he put messages in there and you can put back on again. He would keep it on. It's like his safety just in case. He actually would put it down his own address or something. Those I've actually kept and put them on the altar as well. So when you do that, it says again, I got too many things going on here. I'm screwing this up completely. So that's overall like how the things work, which I think is freaking fantastic. Make sure I actually went. So this is actually, before we go any further, I want to hear from you guys about what you like about this. Again, I don't want to go into sharing stories yet, but from what you've just learned right now of the different kind of layers, what has stood out to you? What actually makes sense to you and yourself? And what are you planning to do yourself when it comes down to creating your altar? Or if you want to show us what you've had. I'm going to take off my share screen for a second. Does anybody want to share what they thought about what this is? Phone, Barbara, what is that? Is your dog putting his hand up for you?
Somebody's at the door, Barbara.
I brought my bread. I have pictures. Okay, so why don't we put this though? Let's go through what we have together. We had a candle. We had know who's there. Who brought a candle? Put your hand up again. Did anybody bring flowers? I know I didn't. Oh, good for you. Did anybody bring their?
Let me see.
Sorry. Did anybody bring something to bring? That's right. Anybody bring food with them? Okay. And then anybody bring a pitcher?
And water.
Oh, water is important. Okay, so what I want to do, because I think I want to bring the pictures in. Actually, know what we're going to do? If you have, perfect. If you have something to share, but if you want to show what it looks like of what you brought for a food, please feel free to show it. Okay, go for it. Ercel, what'd you bring?
Okay, so I already did it like a teacher.
Yeah.
So that I can show you what would be like a very improvised altar, okay? We haven't finished because my daughter wants to put more things there. And I couldn't put all the food there because then she would eat it. So we have. It's just so you know you could do extra more, okay? So this is her usually her table where she plays. You can see the kitchen there. Okay, so I don't have anything on the floor for obvious reasons, and why not? But here you have the layers. So I put the candle there, his cap, because we traveled around the world and he made sure that he was always wearing his cap that said he was Mexican. That's the flower that Sarah was talking about. And then I tried to put the layers. We don't have the sugar skulls, so I printed out the skulls. My daughter did the one for children because we do that in Mexico. We decorate those. There's his favorite sauce there. He loved to eat bread, so that's why I brought it. He loved tools, so that's why we have this one here. And gardening, so that's 4 there. We have the water, chicken wings, and tacos. That's what he liked, and that's his picture. So it's pretty straightforward. It doesn't have to be that complicated. Just improvise the layers. I basically wrapped Amazon boxes, and that's how I did the layers. So it looked like an altar. And that's it. I love clear. Yeah, maybe. I couldn't see if I was showing it. Okay.
I think it's awesome because the other thing that I didn't even bring up, which is I'm really glad you did, was that you got your daughter into this. That's her stuff that you put up there. You colored those little things, those little skulls, and you put them up there.
Right. Yes. Yeah, the important thing is that we try to include the children, right? In our case, that's the purpose behind it. So that an altar for could be, we got the bread that he liked and the tools that he used. So we get into the habit of having a conversation at least once a year where we have our memories. And tomorrow we're going to go deeper into it. We're actually going to eat the food. But I'll tell her this is why I chose that specific tool and that tool that he used to use for gardening and for measuring things. And that's how you start building the memories, right?
Yep. Yep. Everything you have has significance to it to a certain degree. And I love how you just naturally talk about them. I think we all do. How could you not talk about them at home? Because again, they're part of you, they're part of your kid. I cannot tell you how many times, especially of my kids as Tristan's getting older, where he is exactly like his father. And it just shocks the heck out of me, right? These are opportunities where we can talk about them because they're going to have a dead father or mother the rest of their lives. Why wouldn't we talk about them? That's what that's what I love about this too, that when we do talk about it, when kids are cruel, right? And kids are cool and they will go to you they will tell, oh, you don't have a father. He doesn't exist. But no, he exists. He has a father. Happens not to be physically here. That really bothers me too. All right. So going around, does anybody want to share if you had one thing that you would share with your husband right now? If there was one food, or sorry, wife, Brad, if there's one food that you would bring to the table that reminded you of them, what would it be?
Cheese. Cheese.
Any kind of cheese?
Cheese. Any kind of cheese. But this is the picture I have of him on the urn that's on my sideboard. So I have the flowers there, and underneath I have candles. But yeah, it was one of those things where he just like always loved being in nature and just always being with us and trying new things and stuff like that.
That is wonderful. Do your kids like eating cheese?
Oh, yes.
Sarah, you had your hand up first.
So for me, it would be coffee. I was thinking I still have coffee cups, but I don't drink hot coffee. I only drink iced coffee, so I don't have any more like actual coffee to put out. But yeah, my husband drank several cups of coffee a day. He lived on coffee. It was literally, I think he had coffee running through his veins along with his blood. I've never seen somebody drink coffee as much as that man did. But yeah, we had a Keurig and he would use it all the time. And he had his favorites, and he only liked this specific kind and not that specific kind. And he was a little bit of a snob about it, to be honest with you. Some coffee wasn't good enough for him. But yeah, coffee was really my food/drink. If I smell it, it will remind me of my husband.
That's a very good point, which I love. The scent. Scent is, wow. Can you tell? Again, okay, this is what's really interesting. When you smell something, and this doesn't just apply to your husband, just memories in general. When you smell something, it actually bypasses a whole bunch of different like neural pathways, and it goes straight to your memory. It goes bam, straight there. So that's why sometimes if you smell something, you're whisked back there in a second. One of the things I will always tell my clients when they start working with me and they're trying to figure out how to stop like being in all the places at once is to change your bed sheets. You get the scent of him out of your bed. The reason why is because it's already lonely enough when you're there. You're already feeling like this presence that he's not there is so bad. If as much as you want him to be there with you, when you change bed sheets, it is subconsciously telling your head he is not here anymore. And honestly, that can really help those times where you wake up and you are so certain that he was alive, and you wake up, you're like, oh my God, this is actually real. That does actually help because your brain doesn't know anyways. Not that it's going to stop anyway, because it's going to, sorry, it still happens. But scent is part of that too. Which I think is a good point too. If you smell of the food, that brings you back to sharing it with you as well. What's taste? Taste is like almost all smell anyway. Autumn, I'm talking too much. You had your hand up.
My husband loved bacon and pineapple pizza and Mountain Dew. So that's what I would do.
That is awesome. Okay. I love how everybody's sharing. Brad, you said because I did get here, shrimp or any other meals she liked that I cooked. Shrimp. Yeah. Question for you. So when you are doing shrimp, because you're a little more further along and you also have more of an idea of where you stand when it comes to spirituality and everything, how long did it take you to be able to cook shrimp again as a meal?
The first 3 years were totally a blur and avoidance, and I didn't heal until 3 or 4. Yep. And then that was the start of the healing. It took another 2 solid years to reach the point of everything is beautiful, not afraid to revisit anything that we used to do, and back engaged with life. Yep. So I was the cook. So the day she passed away, I'm picking up my son from school and calling, and the phone doesn't answer. And I'm calling to say, hey, put some jasmine rice on. I'm whipping up some Chinese when I get home. So that's everything. She would have, as she said, she would have been a vegan. She was a vegan if it wasn't for my good cooking. Yeah.
When I first met Mike, actually I was 18, 19, we first got together the first time, and we had a year-long intense relationship, which ended up the worst breakup ever. Like, it was the worst breakup. And then 10 years later, we reconnected, and it was this freaking spark out of nowhere. That's when we decided to try again, and it was freaking amazing. Lasted not like 4 years. Anyway, it's ridiculous. You said something that reminded me of it. Oh, yes. When I met him, he was a raver. He did not eat because he couldn't, because he was raving with all the supplements that come with raving. So he was very, and he also ate crap there. Like it was ridiculous. He was not very good at living life. When we got together, by the time he died, he was looked more pregnant than I did because he's 8 and he used to call himself fat and happy because he was actually like with each other again. Crystal, I'm going to put you on a spot if you don't mind, if you want to share, because you said he loved king crab. Did you want to share about that?
Sorry, I'm trying to find the unmute button. It was Tana. So you're fine. You're okay. But yeah, she loved king crab. So anytime we could go to places that served it, she would get it. So we would try to do kind of like a Cajun broil, but at home. And so my son tries to get me to do it, and I struggle, and I can't do it the right consistency that she could. So it's been a while.
That's part of it, I think, as well, about how we do things differently. We can never recreate exactly what's going to happen. And that part of it is very heartfelt and sudden. Oh, wait, I can't have the same thing again. Oh my God, I can't have the same thing again. But then you learn how to cook it differently or do your own way, and you grow into how you're going to do it your way, but you're not letting them go either. I hate the idea of moving on. You're moving forward and you're bringing them with you and your kids and everywhere else. I am going to stop myself on mute. Sorry about that. I'm going to stop here for a second because the next thing I want to get into, because we are coming up in it's out now about 2:00. This is perfect. What I want to do at this point is, before we go any further, I do want to say that, as I was going to tell you, that this is really what we do every week in Rise Like a Phoenix. So I started doing widow solo parenting in 2021 because when I realized that I was not the only young widow in the world who's also a solo parent, it blew my mind. Like, I seriously thought that was it. Like, I'm the only one because there's nothing out there. So I started the widow solo parenting group. Rise Like a Phoenix is its sister group. It is for widows who are ready to figure out who they are now. They've pretty much, their kids are okay. They're breathing. They're doing their own thing. They know they're getting into the room. They're feeling that the world is not going to end the moment they walk out the door. They're like, hey, where am I now? Where am I going to go forward? Rise Like a Phoenix is a group we get together. It is widows who really are so real. And we talk about things that really matter to us, that only widowed solo parents would get. It's a chance that we vent, but it's more importantly, it's a chance where we figure out what's going forward. The way it's structured is we start off every week of saying how we're doing, catch up. That's usually about, I don't know, say a quarter, 3/4 of the, no, 1/4, something later than that. Then we go into a specific topic. The topic that we talk about is from things we've talked about before. I also send out surveys ahead of time to find out what do you want to talk about. I've been doing this for 6 years now. I have so much content, and I don't want to tell you, here's all the stuff, because everybody's grief journey is different. So it's actually tailored to the people in the group at the moment. The other thing, which I think has been spectacular, as people come to this, they love it because we are real, and we will give you no freaking sugarcoating. This sucks, but there's still life and there's still something you can do. And there's so much energy from that. Every time we actually end a group, we always have something you can look at going forward. It's usually some kind of, it could be a workbook, it could be a video, it could be anything of, here's what you can do next to figure out where you go next. Now, it doesn't just end there though, because we get together every week, but we also have a WhatsApp channel. So people will talk to each other constantly on this. And because we have people from Cairo to England and everywhere in between, there's usually somebody there who could actually answer you at any point in time. And the community is freaking fantastic. We also have opportunities to have all the replays of the things I've been doing for years. We have the workbooks. We have workshops like this, like workshops quarterly that is specifically for this group. It is unlike any other group I have out there because we are not just venting. This is not a therapy session. This is boots on the ground. We freaking get you. Take off your mask. Let's go forward and let's share and let's be real. And there's so many different aspects. Again, there's solo parenting, there's taking care of your kids, and there's taking care of you. And we actually make sure they're all together. Everything I do is based off CBT stuff, which I learned boots on the ground. I figured this out on my own. And it wasn't until I went actually into psychological training and like grief-informed training and all that and all this stuff, where I'm like, oh my God, the heart and the mind split thing that I'm talking about, that's something they call the wise mind. Because why I talk about like getting those to talk together, and that's how we become. There's the heart and the mind in like CBT stuff. You bring it together as the wise mind. I'm like, wait, what? This is exactly what I understand. So everything I teach is things that are scientifically proven, but they work for us as solo parents and widows. Sorry, Barbara, you had your hand up.
And the nice thing is, my kids are like 16, 17. Other people have kids who are in the same age range. Other kids have have kids who are younger, and they can commiserate with challenges that they're experiencing at that point in time. So it's a nice little world that we've got. Even got older kids, like adults.
Yeah. And you have people at different stages of their grief journey too, which I think is very important because we all learn from each other. There is something really magical of having a group together, because I can talk a mile a minute. What's important is how you guys share. So we are looking for new members. If at any point you feel like wants to talk more about it, my doors are open. I will send out guys along with the package and everything else, how to get in touch with me, and we can sit down and say, hey, is this for you? Did you like that? What didn't you like? Whatever. I would like to get your input regardless of how this affected you. So that's it. That's my pitch. That's all I'm doing right now. What I'm going to be doing right now is the sharing. So the photo aspect, it is yours. Share if you want. It is any kind of story you want to share that is intimate, you can. Anything that's private, you can. If you don't want to, you don't have to either. This is why this is going to go off camera, because this is private stuff. And I want to respect that for you guys. So that being said, I'm going to stop recording. Okay, so back to recording. If anybody here has water or coffee or anything that they would like to show they have for food, I would like to be able in this case to say, listen, let's take the opportunity. We have talked about things. But that's the part of this too, is when we're coming around, we are sharing, we are feasting, we are saying, hey, we are here. So I'm going to pulling some of this out because I want to see what this actually looks like. This is I can't even see it properly, but it's falling apart. It's like brioche, guys. This is gorgeous. So this is what I'm going to eat. This is my first time doing this. Yes, I do crab. I've tried doing every time we have his birthday, we'll do king crab and we'll do fondue. Oh, here's a question. Here's a little story. So fondue we used to do all the time. And the last time we had fondue was a week before he died. And the thing with fondue, because it's cheese, it clogs him up. And so literally 2 days before he died, he sent me his last text message, which said, because he finally had one. And I'm like, thanks, dude. So now every single time I have fondue, I'm thinking of that. Thank you very much. Here's to this. Here's the new traditions. Try new things. Oh my God, this is gorgeous. The huge freaking recipe. This is amazing. Here's the new things. Here's to talking about them. Here's to bringing them up with your kid and knowing you are okay for doing this. Here's to figuring out what this solo parent thing is, because oh my goodness, they do not teach this. This is so different than single parenting. Don't even let me on that hill. I will freaking burn the place down. Solo parenting is not a hat you can take off and on for the weekend. Anyway, solo parenting, you are dealing with your kids who are growing and changing and developing, and you're trying to figure them out as your own trauma at the same time and trying to make sure they're there and you're learning everything about them. But I also want to say you are figuring out you are figuring out where you're going to go on this journey, and you wouldn't be here if that wasn't the case. So I want you to, when you're toasting yourself, when you are going to eat your bread or your water, I want you to toast yourself and say, you know what, I'm still here and I'm going to continue doing this. Oops, I just put the coffee all over my place. We are here. We are making mistakes. We are falling down. We are freaking losing our shit on our kids. And then we're forgiving ourselves and we're going to dust ourselves off and go, I'm going to keep going. But I got to figure out how I'm going to stand because I need to know that I have stable footing, that I know I'm comfortable with myself. Because if I'm not emotionally aware enough, if I don't know where to stand next, how am I going to reach down to give my kids the hand up? You have to look after you. And that sounds horrible, but you have to because you're the only one who's going to be able to do it now. But it also means pack yourself in the bag, guys, because you guys are here. Thoughts from anybody? Anybody want to share what they ate, what they had to eat? I don't. Ercel, what are you eating? What do you got there? I don't know what you're doing.
I'm not eating anything yet until Maya wakes up.
Gotcha.
Because then I'm gonna be upset with the she ate half of the other breast. I was like, okay, no, we're gonna stop. I need to show it. We'll eat it tomorrow. So yeah, we're gonna eat it tomorrow. We're gonna have chicken wings and the tacos and the bread, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
That's awesome. Okay, this is what I'm going to do because we're getting really late at this point. I have a task for each of you. And this is what I do at the end of every single freaking point. I'm going to give you something that you have to do from this, okay? Because this is, you've learned so much. It is so easy that once we've done through one of these things that we have a call and you get the light in your eyes with relief. It is so easy just to shut that off the moment you have to take care of the kids again or you go back to reality again, okay? So these little tasks are a thing for you to keep forward until the next week or whenever we get together for either whatever we'll talk about in a second. I want you to do something. Whatever it is that you would like to do to celebrate with your kids and with you, with your family, whoever you're going to bring, pick a meal, sit down with your kids, and talk about them. Okay? That is your chore. Ideally, do it this weekend because you got lots of time this weekend because we have so much extra time taking kids on our own on the weekends. Oh my God. But if you can, at least give yourself a week. What I'm going to be doing is I am going to be reaching out to each of you who's been here and anybody who's on a replay. You're out of the hook. I'm reaching out to you too. I want to hear what you ate and how you share it with your kids, what memories you share. You don't have to tell me exactly unless you want to, but I would like you to tell me that, yes, you shared something with your kid. I'm going to be getting in touch with you all by the end of next week. So look forward to me bugging the poop out of you because someone's got to be accountable because I know I do it all the time. That's why we're here too. I want to thank you so much for being here. So upcoming, what's going on, you're going to be getting the replay. Obviously not what we shared. You're going to be getting the stuff I got together. I'm putting it together for you. I'm not even going to tell you what it is. I'm too, honestly choked up right now. I'm going to be contacting you directly. And I am also going to give the opportunity, if you want to, within next week, when we get on our call, if you say you want to be able to join Rise Like a Phoenix, I will give you 14 days free to try it with 2 weeks of us. And if at the end of 2 weeks, you're like, I don't want to do this is not for me, then no. It's so important that whoever you're with, you know that you're part of the group. And I'm not all about you have 5 days free. Whatever. No, you can't you have to be part of this. You have to feel like you're comfortable with this because everybody here, okay, Jen, Rachel, Ercel, Sarah, you just joined us. Barb she's came back. We were working together about a year or so ago. She came back again. Shelly didn't make it today, unfortunately. Valerie checked in. We got people. And people, we're not, you have to go to these grief groups and you bring everything there and then you shut it off to go back to real life and that's it. These guys we are close. We are friends. And these are people I would much rather hang out with than a lot of my other people. It sounds horrible, but it's true. I love you guys. So that being said, I want to go around and I want to have an idea from you guys about 2 things. One thing you got from this, as in one thing, and it could be practical or whatever. I also want you to tell me how you feel now compared to when you first started this Empire event. Okay, and this is how we're going to close off. Yes. Okay, you know what, Brad? I'm going to put you first because obviously you're into the spirit.
Off that maiden. Bad maiden, Sarah, and all you beautiful maidens there. Thank you very much for allowing me to know. What was the question?
The question was, what is the one thing you got from this? And it could be practical or whatever, you know.
I just got,
Amazing. I mean, how do you feel
Yeah.
now compared to how you first started when you came in here?
I think the idea was wonderful. When you asked, what do you think of the item? Hey, let's do it. This is right up my alley. And I appreciate the time for sharing my wife, a little past life, and it makes me happy. So thank you.
You're welcome. So how would you feel if you could describe yourself when you first walked into this meeting and then now, how would you be able to define that?
Well, happy that I was able to share Heather and her life and the Day of the Dead and the memory, and her spirit lives on. So now a little got to see Heather, and yeah, I mean, when I came here, I was excited about coming here, and I'm happy, and I got what I wanted out of it. It was beautiful. Thank you.
I'm glad. That's so good. I'm glad you got out of it. That is so important. Lovely. Who else was here? I'm going to actually look at who's here. Actually, you know what? I'm going to ask, who am I going to ask? Sarah, I'm going to ask you next because you're the first person one of the first people that showed. So same question. What did you get out of this? Like one thing you learned or whatever, golden nugget, what do you put in? And then how would you compare how you are now compared to how when you first came in?
All right. Hopefully you can hear me. I had to switch devices.
You're on mute.
You're on mute.
Okay. Can you hear me now? Okay. So I feel a little lighter now. Like I said, it was nice to share about Nate and talk about his life rather than his death. And I'm gonna share the experience with my daughter a little bit and just talk with her and process more. I do try and talk and share with her often, but I think it would be good for her to learn more about this experience and just be able to express whatever comes up for her.
I love that. You're actually like, I'm not even going to presuppose. She can come up and see whatever, which is awesome because we always try to control as much as possible because obviously we don't want the same thing to happen again. Thank you. That's awesome. I'm going to go down my list. I'm going to see Chris. Sorry, more good on. No, yes, keep moving. Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, because I'll put in the chat how old your kids are. That would be very helpful for me as well to know exactly what I'm giving you for your package. Because it is going to be kids, age group specific. Okay, we did that. Brad, Emily, you're next on my list. You are more than welcome to share, but I know you're also very much the behind the camera thing or off the camera. But I want to give you opportunity if you wanted to. Jen, how about you? How are you feeling today? What did you get from it?
I loved hearing about the cultures and the different ways that, I guess, thinking about how I was brought up, not only was I Catholic, but we were in the family. We just didn't talk about the people who had left. Here's a story. Oh, remember Aunt Marcella used to do that. Remember so-and-so used to do that. But it wasn't ever anything organized. It was never anything expected. I was told not to go to funerals. Like I just wasn't we were in Egypt when both my grandmother and grandfather died. So only the respective parent went home for that funeral and the rest of us stayed in Egypt. So there was a lot of logistics that made these things not possible. So I really liked the hearing about the ritual of it and the whys and the hows and how it all brings it together to be the happy memories so that we can talk about the good things and not just the death and the bad things that suck now that they're gone. It's really nice to talk about they lived and they did these amazing things and they made us who we are because of these awesome things that they did. And I liked that was what this morning was about for us today, or night and evening for the rest of you. It's funny with the WhatsApp. I'm sitting there talking to my son last night, going ready to get to bed, and Ercel's like, "Congratulations, Val." And I'm like, "Oh, Ercel's up. It's the end of mine."
Which is another reason we do this at 12:30, guys, because it seems to be the sweet spot for everybody. All right, who's next? Thank you, Jen. Oh my God, I love you so much. Okay, we got Brad, we got Jen, we got Emily, we have Crystal. You're next on my list.
Sorry, I'm having to go get kids now. Can you hear me?
Yep. And we're
Okay,
so used to this too, by the way. Go ahead.
Out of it. I don't know. I just love I can't think of the words right now, but just how the culture honors the dead and just what we could bring that to our cultures or even just within our families and helping each other feel more close with them. And I don't know. The prior to this, I was nervous. I tend to crawl back into my shell. I have a therapist, she's widowed as well, so it's very easy to connect and be vulnerable with her, but there's not many others that I can share or relate to. So this just helps that not so alone piece. And it felt good to be able to talk. I don't get to very often. It's been interesting. My kids have actually been bringing her up more. And so it's a good feeling.
I totally get it. I love that. I just wanted to point out too that therapy and this group work so well together because on therapy, you're taking care of the past and the trauma and everything. And then everything we do is obviously boots in the ground. This is how we can use that forward. And because everything I actually teach is CBT based or it's psychology based, a lot of the stuff that I will teach will actually marry a lot with what you're getting from therapy. And then it takes that and this is how it applies to your specific life as a widow and a solo parent. So it makes it crystal clear and it works wonderfully together. Yeah, and congratulations for seeing a therapist. I think that's freaking amazing and they are still doing it because that's hard to do sometimes too. Okay, I'm going to ask, was anybody else? And we lost a lot of people because it is late. I'm going to ask Rachel and then I'm going to ask Ercel as our co-host to finalize how you're feeling about it too. So Rachel, please tell. Thank you.
Hello. Yeah, so I always look forward to coming to the group because I know that I'm going to get something out of whatever we're talking about. And today hasn't been any different to that because the whole different cultures, different scenarios, but the solidarity, the togetherness and helping each other through the memories. And that's been really lovely. And yeah, I always feel lighter at the end of the meetings, regardless of whatever we're talking about. I always feel lighter when I leave.
And we love you too, every single time. I love it. Hi, Ercel. I should have done you first because of how freaking late it is for you, even with the try and change. But lucky you. How are you feeling? Because you are actually, this is why I want to end with you because you were the one who started all this. You were the one who were so said, I want to do this. This is important to me. You wanted to do this because you wanted to share this with your daughter. You wanted to make sure that he and you are passing on traditions and that she's part of it. So how you imagined it when you created this. I know everything is never on the plan. You can see how many notes I had that I didn't even get to. But how are you feeling now? How, after all of this, we've did the thing, you started the meeting. How are you feeling from this? What did you get from this? And what did you get from this? Because I'm sure you got something from it, even though you were teaching it. And then how would you compare yourself feeling now to how you first started when this meeting?
I'll start with I am happy that people found it helpful / useful. That was the whole point behind it. I just like Rachel and Jennifer. I've been here now in this group for a year and it really has made a difference. And part of me wanted to do this, even though I'm far away, is because I feel the support from the group. So that kind of gave me the courage to do that. And that's why I wanted to pay it forward and hopefully help other widowers to feel better as well and to remember their spouse when they were alive, not only when they were dead, but alive. Because that's what we fell in love with them, right? Because they were alive. So I'm happy that a lot of people showed up.
Yeah. Great. I'm glad. I'm really glad. You know what I love about that? I want to applaud you because you just said you would not have done this if you didn't have the support of the people you knew, honestly. And I applaud you for that because not only does that mean that you trust us to be able to be here and do that, but you felt enough of the pull and to be able to figure out, hey, like, I can do this. And it's so scary to do that. And to know that you do feel supported here. We do. Love you so much. All right, guys, I am going to head off. That is much longer than I wanted to do. I did warn you that sometimes this happens. I hope you did not feel that was 4,000 hours. Okay, everybody, I don't even know how to end. I guess I never know how to end. You guys are awesome. I will talk to you soon. Let me know how you felt about it, regardless. And guys, stuff. Thank you all.
See you next week. Bye bye.